Hello student, today in this video lesson, I will explain you how to change imperative and interrogative sentences into passive voice. First, what are imperative sentences? Imperative sentences express command, order, request, suggestion, etc. While changing imperative sentences into passive voice, we use verb like advise, request, order, etc. For example, open your book. Please bring me a glass of water. Do not laugh at the poor. In the first sentence, there is an order. In second sentence, there is a request. And in third sentence, there is an advice. Imperative sentence always start with the first form of verb as the subject is hidden in these sentences. Now, how to change imperative sentences into passive voice? We have two methods in which we can change imperative sentences into passive voice. First, bring some water please. In this sentence, there is a request. We can simply change this sentence by using you are requested to bring some water. We will only add you are requested and after that we will write complete sentence with the help of to. We will connect these two parts with to. The second method is with the use of let. If we are using let, after let we will write the object. Let some water after object be and the past participle form of the verb, which is called the third form of the verb. The third form of bring is brought. Let some water be brought. We can also write please or we can also remove the word please. Now look at the second example. Avoid bad company. In this sentence, there is an advice. First method, we can write you are advised to avoid bad company. If we change this sentence with the use of let, we will write let bad company be avoided. One more sentence, wash your hands properly. In this sentence, there is also an advice. With the use of first method, we can change this sentence. You are advised to wash your hand properly. Or we can change this sentence by using let. Let your hands be washed properly. We are using verb, advise, request or order. We will use the third form of the verb like you are requested, you are advised or you are ordered, and rest of the sentence we connect with the to. And if we are using let, after let object and after object be, after be the third form of the verb. How to change interrogative sentences into passive voice? We have two type of interrogative sentences. First, which start from the helping verb like do, does, did, is, am, are, was, were, can, could, may, might, should, would, etc. And the second type of interrogatives are which start from the question word like when, who, where, how, etc. Thus, we will start interrogative sentences which start from helping verb like do or does. If our sentence start with do or does, in passive voice, in place of do or does, we use is, am, are according to our object. For example, do you love him? In this sentence, object is him and it convert into he, and with he we use is. So in place of do we will write is, then he. The third form of love is loved by you. Our second sentence is did he break window? If our sentence is starting with did, in passive voice we will use was or were according to our object, and our object is window. With the window, we will use verb was. Was the window broken by him? Remember one thing, if our sentence is interrogative in active voice, it will be interrogative in passive voice also. The third sentence, if our sentence start with has or have, we will change has or have according to our object and we will use been in the passive voice. Our example is, have you taught the boy? In this sentence, subject is you, so we have used have. In passive voice, our object is boy, and with the boy, we will use has. Has the boy, after the subject, we will write been taught by you. Remember one thing, we will use been after our object in passive voice. Our next sentence is WH type interrogative, which start from a question word. What do you want? In this sentence, what in place of do, we will also use ismr. What is wanted by you? Our next sentence is, why did she beat the servant? In place of did, we will use was or were according to our object. In this sentence, object is servant. Why was the servant beaten by him? Our next sentence is, when did you write the letter? In passive voice, when was the letter written by you? Our next sentence is, where will you spend your holidays? Answer is, where will your holidays be spent by you? If there is will or shall in your sentence, in passive voice, you will use be after the subject. Next, how will you cross the river? How will the river be crossed by you? Next, have you helped him? In place of have, we will use has because our object is him. Has he been helped by you? Our last sentence is, will you teach me? In passive voice, we can also use shall because our subject is I in the passive voice. Will I after subject be taught by you? The last, if our interrogative sentence start with who and after who there is the second form of verb, we will use was were in the passive voice and in place of who we will use by whom. Look at the answer. By whom was it written? Now look at the second sentence. In second sentence, when will you write it? The tense is future. There is will. In passive voice, we will use be. When will it be written by you? Now the next sentence. Why should you suspect me? In this sentence, there is the modal should. If modal is in active voice, we will use be in the passive voice and other rules are same, subject, object, object, subject. Look at the answer. Why should I be suspected by you? Our next sentence is, where was she making it? Where was it being made by her? Our next sentence is, where does he keep his pens? Where are his pens kept by him? One more thing, if your sentence is start with who and after who there is the first form of verb or s or es in the first form of verb, you will use is mr in the passive voice. For example, if I say who writes it, then answer will be by whom is it written. I hope you will understand how to change imperative and interrogative sentences into passive voice. If you feel any problem or any query, you can ask